A$AP Rocky is finally setting the record straight on how he feels about Chris Brown still flirting with Rihanna.
Nah, you can't feed into petty like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, at this point, that's trash at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Chris Brown recently went off on Instagram complaining about people still bringing up his 2009 attack on Rihanna, and then he proceeded to share a series of flirty messages in support of Rihanna's Super Bowl performance. And while Chris's fans are defending him and claiming he's a changed man, others are saying he's acting like a stalker and disrespecting Rihanna's relationship with A$AP Rocky. But how does A$AP feel about Chris trying to flirt with Rihanna? Let's break it down.
Just fuck what the outside world got going on, fuck what the outside world think and shit like that. It's really about understanding between two components, you and your significant other. That's it, you know what I'm saying?
Chris Brown is once again inserting himself in Rihanna's business, and it looks like A$AP Rocky is not here for it. Following Rihanna's Super Bowl performance, Chris shared several flirty messages of support that didn't sit right with Rihanna's fans. And then Chris went on an explosive IG rant, blasting fans for always bringing up his past. However, Chris conveniently failed to mention that Rihanna isn't the only woman he attacked, and fans are now saying A$AP Rocky needs to put Chris in his place. And it looks like Rocky might be taking the fans' advice, because rumors are going around that he now wants to make things official with Rihanna and finally put a stop to all the rumors about her and Chris.
It was important having that support in real life, you know, and I think it just shows it will reveal in the doc, you know, it's just how it is in real life.
To give you some context, Chris and Rihanna broke up almost a decade ago, and while Rihanna has moved on and built a family with A$AP Rocky, some fans are convinced Chris is still not over her. As you all know, Rihanna's troubled relationship with Chris was a talking point for years, and it played a huge part in Rihanna's personal and public life. Chris and Rihanna started dating when they were both still teenagers. However, their whirlwind romance ended in February 2009 after Chris brutally attacked Rihanna on the eve of the Grammy Awards. In a sworn statement, an LA detective who was present at the scene said that Chris punched Rihanna repeatedly, bit her ear, and put her in a headlock, causing her to slowly lose consciousness. According to the police report, Chris also told Rihanna, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you when we get home. You wait and see." Rihanna then tried to call her assistant on the phone, but this enraged Chris even more and he threatened to unalive her. Chris eventually turned himself in and pleaded guilty to the felony charge, receiving 5 years of probation. But then, in early 2013, Rihanna and Chris briefly reconciled, with Rihanna telling Rolling Stone at the time, "I decided it was more important for me to be happy. Even if it's a mistake, it's my mistake." However, it didn't take long before Rihanna realized she and Chris were both better off apart, and by April 2013, they'd broken up for good. But see, the reason why Rihanna's fans still have a problem with Chris is because the 2009 incident wasn't the last time Chris was accused of mistreating women. To give you just a few examples, in February 2012, he snatched a woman's phone after she took a photo of him and called her the B word. And then just months later, Chris shoved another woman to the ground at a nightclub, leaving her with torn ligaments. Then in 2015, a woman filed a report against Chris after she was forcibly thrown off his tour bus and had her phone smashed. During 2016, Chris was involved in at least 2 more incidents with women. First, a woman accused him of punching her in the face and taking her phone in a Las Vegas nightclub. And then a few months later, Chris's tour manager claimed he threatened her with a physical attack. Meanwhile, Chris's ex-girlfriend, Karrueche Tran, dumped him after she found out he'd fathered a daughter with Nia Guzman. However, Chris continued to pursue Karrueche, spamming her on social media and randomly showing up at events she attended.
Well, anyway, Chris isn't giving up, and he was actually spotted following Karrueche outside of a nightclub in LA, and then he forced his way into her SUV. TMZ is also reporting she then kicked him out of the vehicle a short time later, but undeterred, Chris then showed up at her house at 3:30 a.m., banging on her door, and the cops were called. This is so like a movie, guys. The report says that Karrueche then fled her house for Norm's Diner, which is kind of like the Denny's of LA, where Chris showed up again, and their argument turned into a full-blown grand slam breakfast shouting match.
In 2017, Karrueche was granted a 5-year restraining order against Chris after she testified under oath that he threatened her, telling friends, "If I can't have her, no one else can." According to the court document, Karrueche also revealed Chris physically attacked her on several occasions during their relationship, punching her in the stomach and pushing her down the stairs. But shortly after Karrueche was granted the restraining order, Chris shared a bizarre video proudly admitting that he stalks his ex-girlfriends.
Complaining about being like stalkers, in love with y'all, kind of crazy shit, and get tired of it. Well, guess what? I'm one of them. If I love you, ain't nobody gonna have you. I'm gonna make you miserable. I'm gonna chase that out I'm gonna chase your ass around, and it's done. Ladies, y'all ever dealt with a that just be like blowing y'all up, hopping gates, stalking the out you, getting on your nerves? Well, I'm one of them. If I love you, ain't nobody gonna have you. That I'm tearing up everything.
But that wasn't the end of it, because while he was still stalking Karrueche, Chris continued to stir up controversy with other incidents, and in August 2016, he was arrested by the LAPD following a standoff at his home after a woman accused him of threatening her.
Well, going on 13 hours now, it all started a little after 3 o'clock in the morning when a woman reportedly said that Chris Brown pointed a gun at her. She went outside, called 911, a squad car arrived, and we've been at that way ever since. Now, from the air, you can see the mansion. Chris Brown calls it his palace on top of a hill in Tarzana. It is isolated from the rest of the neighborhood, but this neighborhood, of course, has been completely blocked off. Police have been going in and out practically all day long. As you mentioned, Chris Brown is in that home with his attorney. We don't know if he's cooperating, don't know if he's been questioned, because police, quite frankly, haven't told us much. Going on hour number 13 now.
Chris was later released on bail. However, he didn't stay out of trouble for too long, and in April 2018, he and 2 accomplices were taken into custody in Paris after a woman filed a report against them. Chris later claimed he was falsely accused, but it didn't seem like he was actually trying to repair his reputation, and Rihanna's fans are now worried that Chris is once again showing his stalker tendencies. Back in 2020, Chris hinted in an Instagram post that he was still in love with a mystery woman after all this time, and fans speculated he was talking about Rihanna. And then, after Rihanna and A$AP Rocky went public with their romance in early 2021, one source close to Chris told Hollywood Life that Chris is for sure jealous of Rihanna's relationship with A$AP. It kills him that he and Rihanna aren't as close anymore, and that they have not maintained a closer relationship since breaking up, the insider said. And though Rihanna and A$AP are now expecting their second child, it looks like Chris still can't leave Rihanna alone. During Rihanna's Super Bowl performance on February 12th, Chris posted an IG story with a love heart and prayer emoji, writing, "Go girl." Many fans took issue with Chris calling Rihanna girl, and they said he needs to stop mentioning Rihanna because she hasn't acknowledged him in public for years, and it's clear that she doesn't want to be dragged into any kind of conversation about Chris. However, Chris didn't stop there, and after fans recently called out singer Chloe Bailey over her new collaboration with Chris took to Instagram to say he's tired of people still bringing up his 2009 attack on Rihanna. "If y'all still hate me for a mistake I made as a 17-year-old, please kiss my whole entire ass," Chris wrote. "I'm 33. I'm so tired of y'all running with this narrative." Chris then complained about cancel culture, claiming that there isn't enough outrage about white artists who do equally horrible things. And in a follow-up story, he shared photos of several white celebs accused of DV, including Sean Penn, Charlie Sheen, Nicolas Cage, and Emma Roberts. But you can imagine, Chris's post has divided the internet. While Chris's fans are praising him for pointing out the double standard in the industry, many others are saying Chris is just playing the victim and trying to manipulate the narrative. First of all, Chris said in his story that he was 17 when he attacked Rihanna, when in fact he was 19 going on 20. Also, fans are saying Chris pretended like the situation with Rihanna was an isolated incident, and he never mentions what he did to Karrueche. And to top it all off, Chris complains about cancel culture, and yet he still has a thriving career. One fan tweeted, "Chris Brown trying to act like a victim of cancel culture, even though he's had multiple hit songs, platinum songs, albums, and sold-out tours." Rihanna's fans are also saying Chris is once again showing his true colors, and they want A$AP Rocky to put him in his place. So how does A$AP feel about Chris seemingly trying to get Rihanna's attention? Well, sources close to A$AP are saying he doesn't want to stoop down to Chris's level and go back and forth on social media. However, A$AP is now reportedly more determined than ever to put a ring on Rihanna's finger. In fact, one insider revealed that Rihanna recently decided to postpone a new album despite previously claiming she will come out with new music this year. And apparently, the reason for another delay is A$AP and Rihanna's desire to get married as soon as possible. But some fans are saying A$AP still needs to say something about Chris sending subliminal messages to Rihanna, because Chris himself admitted he's a stalker who loves to make his exes miserable. A$AP better get to rocking Chris Brown, one fan commented. However, another person replied saying it's better if A$AP ignores Chris and wrote, "I hate the alpha BS, but yeah, Chris is a weirdo. It's not A$AP's job to reply to a psycho. Peace over everything." But let's hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Chris is still obsessing over Rihanna? And should A$AP say something or just ignore him? Let us know in the comments.